Grants, as we know, you do not have to repay those back. However, I like to say that grants are not all the way 100% free because you do have to put some type of skin in the game when you are applying for these grants. So if we're going to get clear on anything, we're going to get clear on how we actually position our businesses to win grants. What's up, y'all? It is your girl, Sonja Jones of GFP Financials, your mystery I give money, and welcome again to the From Chaos to Clarity Unleash Your Business Potential podcast. And so today, we're going to do something a little different. So I'm working on the platform. I can share my PowerPoint with y'all. So guess what? We are going to talk today about probably the number one topic that we get asked about at GIP Financials, and that is grants and funding, right? So I'm definitely going to talk about grants first because grants, as we know, you do not have to repay those back. However, I like to say that grants are not all the way 100% free because you do have to put some type of skin in the game when you are applying for these grants. So if we're going to get clear on anything, we're going to get clear on how we actually position our businesses to win grants. So I have a couple of things here that I just want to share with you. I'm not going to be before you long. So the first thing is when we are applying for grants, there's three big things that all grants are going to require. One, you need a funding plan, or you can call it a spending plan. What do you need the grant for? You cannot just say, I just need some money. You got to have some type of explanation of if you're awarded said grant, how are you going to use the funds? That's number one. And number two is there is absolutely no way you're going to be clear on how you're going to use these funds unless you know your numbers. Y'all, there is no way you are going to get around not knowing your numbers in your business. You got to know them. And the more detailed you are in knowing your numbers, I guarantee you it's going to strengthen your positioning with the grantors as you're applying for these grants. So y'all, you got to have clean books. You got to have solid financials. So what I put here in the presentation are some of the commonly asked financial questions in those grant applications, such as how much revenue did you earn for the year? So we're recording 2024, so they're going to ask how much revenue did you earn in 2023? And in most cases, it's going to be gross revenue. So there's revenue before expenses, right? Second thing, your revenue history. Depending on how long you've been in business, they may want to know how much revenue you've made since you've been in existence, right? So GIP Financial started December the 17th, 2019. So in some instances, we had to share our revenue from 2019 to 2023, right? Because we are still applying for grants and funding. So you have to be able to explain that your growth in revenue. And sometimes you can do that if you have accounting software, which I hope that you do. You can pull that data from your profit and loss. Or if you don't, you can always use your tax returns if you are filing your taxes for your business revenue. You know I love you, right? I just got to say that. Right? You can also, if you have a business checking account, right, a separate business checking account from your personal, you could use your monthly statements and tally those up. But I will say this: if you do a lot of like transferring back and forth, or if you have a lot of activity through like merchant accounts, like a PayPal or something like that, to where the revenue is coming from PayPal into your checking account, your numbers may be a tad bit inaccurate. So that's why I say you can use that, but that's really, in my opinion, kind of like the lazy way to do it, right? So primarily, I would recommend that you at least have accounting software or to use your tax returns for revenue history. Next, your top income sources. So if you have a business and you receive income in different ways, so like for us, we have bookkeeping services. We offer grant loan application assistance. We offer like general consultations. We offer coaching, right? We have workshop revenue. So some grantors want to know the different types of revenue that you're bringing in, and that's always good to know, right? The blessing really is in the details of how you record your numbers, right? So if you haven't thought about that, you may want to consider that, and especially for 2024, organizing your income based off the types of products and or services you provide. And then last but definitely not least, your top expenditures, right? And the reason why I put that there is because if you have your three highest expenditures that you're spending money on, guess what? You can use that data to justify why you need the grant. In most cases, advertising is going to be probably the top not the top revenue, but the top expense for most businesses. So a lot of businesses say, hey, we spent probably 30-40% of our operating budget on advertising. So with this grant will help us reduce our cost in advertising, which will in turn not only bring more revenue in by, if you put that grant money towards your advertising, you're able to reach more customers, which should increase your revenue, right? But then also you're able to keep some money in your cash reserve by not spending all of your cash on advertising, right? So you can kind of explain it like that. So you got to know what you're going to spend your grant on. 2, you got to have clean bookshelves, no way around it. And then 3, you have to be able to describe community impact. What are you doing in the community? Who are you serving in the community? Who's your ideal customer? And how do you serve them, right? Who do you serve and how do you serve them? So I use GIP Financials again as an example. So for our bookkeeping clients, our average bookkeeping client for profits are entrepreneurs, LLCs, who earn gross average about $250,000 a year. So that means that in most cases, actually all of our for-profits that we get bookkeeping services for right now, I'm thinking just to confirm, they all take the S Corp election, right? So that also means that out of those for-profit businesses, they all pay themselves. They have enough net profit to pay themselves, and they do have a small team of employees and or independent contractors that work for them in said business, right? So we also serve nonprofit organizations who either have a small administrative team that may have some financial responsibility, or they don't have a financial team at all. It might just be the executive director, maybe another leader, and, the general staff. And they outsource the bookkeeping. Their average organizational revenue is between $1 million and $4 million a year. That's who we serve primarily for our bookkeeping. But we also serve organizations. Some of them are nonprofits. Some of them are, local government organizations who provide what we call technical assistance for startup businesses, meaning that they pay subject matter experts such as us to assist startup businesses who may not be able to afford our services yet. so they can be exposed to expert level advice so they can be set up properly. So those are 3 general client avatars, if you will, right? So that's who we serve. How do we serve them? So with our for-profits, we do a lot of workshops. We used to be members of BNI, and we would provide workshops within that community. We will also provide workshops for other nonprofits that support entrepreneurs, such as the BBA of Memphis. It used to be Women's Business Center South, but they're called WeBEC South now. Building Memphis, those organizations that support entrepreneurs. We've also done workshops with the city of Memphis, right? So if you're offering free workshops, well, it may be free to the audience, but in a lot of cases, you will get an honorarium. Just you have to develop relationship, right? Don't go in off the jump expecting, to get paid. So just telling that you want to develop relationship, you need to offer something at least from the jump. But then once you build your street cred, then they will start, to offer you paid engagement. So I just want to let you know that as well. So your community impact is beyond like volunteering for like food drive or a coke drive or a toy drive, which all those things are well and good and have its appropriate place. But for the sake of communicating that level of impact for your business, you have to be able to show your expertise within the community impact space. So that's just an opportunity there. Get with your local chamber of commerce and offer a workshop there, right? If there is an event in the neighborhood with a community development corporation and they have vending space, you can provide, you can invest in a vendor booth and provide your services in advertising and talk to people in the community there. So you just have to kind of think outside the box and be able to not only talk about how you serve your community with your said business, but what kind of impact that it made, right? So those are my 3 essentials for obtaining grants. So you have to, this is your skin in the game. If you're going to earn that grant that you don't have to pay back, you have to make sure that you have some sufficient information so the grantors, the people who are giving you the money, can say, this is a reputable business and we're confident based off of what they've done in the past that when we give them this money, they're going to double their impact, double their transformation with the people that they serve. And hopefully that will also bring in revenue for your business as well. So that's what I have today. Like I said, it's very short and very sweet. We'll talk a little bit more about grants as well because this is just surface level. But child, there are some other things that you need to know as well. I might just do another podcast on grants aren't free because there's some other things you guys need to be aware of as well. So again, thank you for listening. This is Sonja Jones of GIP Financials, your Mr. Me, I'll Give Money. And I will see you on the next episode of From Chaos to Clarity. Unleash your business potential. See you on the next round.